Did you ever think what it would be like traveling along in an open car without a windshield? Boy, you wouldn't go very far before you got all splattered with mud. And you'd have to keep your eyes closed so as not to be blinded by the dust. Well, when you're traveling along in life, Rangers, common sense acts as a pretty important windshield. It lets you see where you're going.
I am the greatest. Welcome, everyone, to the California Reparations, Road to Reparations show in the building. Yes, I am joined by, my name's Umoya, by the way. We are joined by the Wonder Twins. I'll let y'all introduce yourselves.
Hey, well, y'all know me. It's Kimmy Min back again.
Hello, everyone. This is Darlene Crumity. Thank you for joining us today.
In the building. So we wanted to bring the family some information on this wonderful discussion after the long, hard-fought journey, the 2-year journey that Emin the Mass Media Group, and the community, California state, and the nation and the world participated in this reparations process, studying and developing proposals for Black American descendants and those who are descendants of U.S. chattel slaves in the United States. So before we go, let's, or I should say get started, let's do some in-housekeeping, shall we? All right, so we're going to start with the first slide, or?
Oh, okay.
It is in the morning.
Let's see here. What are we doing? The first slide?
I think let's go with the, I guess we can go with this one, but, we should probably go with the documentary next. If you haven't checked out the case of Emmanuel Smith, Kim and I went down to Palo Alto and spoke with our good brother Emmanuel Smith. We're doing a special report on that. It's 11 episodes. I believe the first one went up last week, so if you haven't had a chance to check it out, please go and do that and support our good brother Emmanuel Smith. I believe his next hearing is September 11th. So as the trial continues, we will definitely keep everybody informed on what's going on.
Yeah. And our brother Emmanuel really needs our support, really going through a harrowing ordeal with the, East Palo Alto police.
Yeah. So, if y'all been living underneath a rock, which I don't know. I do sometimes. Please, right now, go to reparationsnowdoc.com. That's reparationsnowdoc.com. You can actually find it on Tubi as well to watch it, to get informed and support the number one media source on reparations and news in the world, in the universe. We worked really diligently and hard, grassroots, filmed and produced. So, please go to reparationsnowdoc.com. That's reparationsnowdoc.com. Or you can go on Tubi. It was supposed to go up on Prime. I don't know what happened to it. Like, we reached out to our distributor and, crickets. So don't know what's going on with Prime. I mean, I guess one day it will be on there. But if not, you can go to reparationsdoc.com. It's about $4.99 and some change. You can support us that way or go to Tubi. Either way, definitely go check it out.
Yeah, check it out. And if you've already seen it, please share with your family and friends.
Absolutely. All right.
All right. Is that it for housekeeping at the moment?
I think it is.
Okay, let's get into it.
So, all right. So before we started, and by the way, when this goes on the replay, we want to try to get these shows going viral too, because this is very important. That once again, nobody is doing it like we are. So we're actually going to take our time through this process, just so we're all aware, right, of the legislative process, because that's one thing. I mean, especially as media. Usually, media, we try to truncate things. We try to make sure that we give it more palatable to the community. But unfortunately, with information, sometimes you just have to give it, what it is, and you can't really, cut corners, because like when you cut corners, sometimes you miss some things, and we may not get everything right as we go through this, and there might be some information that we are missing. And I don't know, Kim, if you can put up our email address. If we are missing something, please let us know, and we'll go ahead and take that information and further look into what you have to say. So definitely send us an email at etnmediagroup.com or etnmediagroup@gmail.com. That's etnmediagroup@gmail.com. All right. So let's talk about California, because that's what we're focused on today. California has a population estimated currently at 38.9 million. That was the start of 2023. It's down from 39.1 million as of 2022, which is a 0.3% decline. There are 39% Latino, 35% white, 15% Asian American or Pacific Islander, 5% Black. Out of that Black American population, we don't exactly know right now, but we can probably guess maybe 3 to 4% ish around there. 4% who are considered multiracial, and fewer than 1% are Native American or Alaskan natives. Some of the industries here in California: agriculture, film and television, travel and tourism, tech, service, healthcare, and construction. For those that aren't aware, film and television right now, they're actually going through a strike out here, and looks like it's heating up pretty much. Now, I don't know how much. If you haven't seen Blacklisted here on ETN Media Group and in the Mass Media Group, please check that out, because we actually talk about the history of Hollywood, and in particular with Black American cinema, or lack thereof, and our participation in it and ownership of it. So I don't know how much that actually affects, the Black American creative community, because most of us actually have to be independent because we've been locked out of Hollywood. So it is what it is. The state budget is currently at $308 billion. The GDP, gross domestic product, I'll get it out, 2022 is estimated at 3.59 trillion. Currently, I know people are touting that California is the fourth, but that is not the case. Not as of yet. Not saying that we won't be there in terms of if California was a country, but yes, it is a state. We are not there as of yet. Currently, we are sitting in fifth position if we were a country. Germany, Japan, China, and the United States are ahead of California. And behind California is India, United Kingdom, France, Italy, Canada, and Korea. All right, so the unemployment rate is approximately at 4.3% overall, estimated at 831,000 people. Currently, the whites rate is at 4.1, Hispanics at 4.6, Asians at 3.9% unemployment rate, and not surprisingly so, blacks are at 6.8% unemployment rate here in California. All right, if we can go to the next slide, please. All right, so homeless here in California. I guess if you want to, take a screenshot of this, you can. Because I guess we'll just, focus on the black unemployment rate. Unhoused individuals assisted by a homeless service provider. This is as of 2021, is at 26.6%. And it says Black Americans, or at least blacks, are share of the state population are at 5.3%. So you can, do your comparative study as we go. Let's see. It says as of 2022, the Los Angeles and South Coast region is at almost close to 50% of the homeless population. And the San Francisco Bay Area is 22%, had the highest shares of unhoused individuals, followed by the Sacramento region at 7.2%. Now, as an update, that may have changed. I don't know. I still believe Los Angeles is the highest homeless population in California. I don't think that has changed yet, but if it has, please let us know. All right, so let's go to the next one. Man, I feel like I'm talking a whole bunch here. Darlene, do you want to take this one, or Kim, or do you want me to continue?
I'll take this one.
Wonderful.
The following forms of reparations exist. Number 1, restitution. Number 2, compensation. Number 3, rehabilitation. Number 4, satisfaction. Number 5, guarantees of non-repetition. You can find this information at www.reparations.com/what_is_reparations_law.php. This is referenced from the California Reparations Task Force Report, page 17 of the Executive Summary, page 512, chapter 14, International Reparations Framework.
Boom. All right, so definitely wanted to give some context of what's happening right now before we actually get into the legislative process. All right, go to the next one. All right. So kind of some overall information of what came out of the California Reparations Task Force hearings for the past 2 years. So the reparations overall summary is AB 3121. It's the California bill to study and develop reparation proposals for Black African American descendants, signed into law by Governor Gavin Newsom, September 30th, 2020, authored by California Secretary of State, Dr. Shirley Weber. And actually, before we go to the next points, I just wanted to mention that even though peace out to George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter movement, the reparations discussion was happening specifically here in California, and we can also say HR 40, but specifically here in California before the untimely transition of our good brother George Floyd. So I think some people have said that, and some articles have said that because of George Floyd, it just kind of ignited the reparations discussion. But we just wanted to, make the point that, reparations was already being discussed and talked about. And
shout out to Maureen Simmons for kind of heading that up as well.
Facts. Shout out to Maureen Simmons, who we did interview on our Reparations Now documentary. And I think she's probably been interviewed and had expert testimony in the California Reparations Task Force as well. I think she was on there, 2 or 3 times? I think, Kim and Arlene? Something like that.
Several times at least, yes.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah, not shade to George Floyd. And just to give it some context, the first AB 3121 hearing that we went to, and I testified at that, and Chris Lawson also testified, was on May the 11th. And George Floyd was unfortunately lynched by the police on May 25th. So, ashe to Brother George Floyd.
Ashe. All right. Let's see here. The California Reparations Task Force had 16 meetings from June 1st, 2021 to June 29th, 2023. The California Reparations Task Force, plus the California DOJ, Department of Justice, plus community input, expert testimony, created a 1,000 plus page report. You can find that at the DOJ's website at oag.ca.gov/AB3121/report. And out of that discussion came some calculations based on 5 harms that they recommended for possible cash payments would be health harms, mass incarceration and over-policing of African Americans, housing discrimination, unjust property takings by eminent domain, devaluation of African American businesses. Also came out of the report in the hearings is the CAFA, which is the Freedmen Affairs Agency, also which will possibly be known as the California American Freedmen Affairs Agency. Currently, there is no reparations bill that has been created. Reparations has not been paid out yet for the eligible class, and the eligible class being, which is based on lineage, determined by an individual being a Black descendant of a chattel enslaved person or a descendant of a free Black person living in the United States prior to the end of the 19th century.
Okay, so we're moving on to the life cycle. There's a quick, what are we calling this? Some kind of a
chart diagram, I guess.
Yeah, diagram. If you want to take a snapshot of that and kind of follow along.
Do you want to do you have the link to put into the comments?
No, I don't.
All right, hold on. Let me see if I have it. Okay, I got it. I'm gonna put this in the let me put this in the chat. Yeah, what's up, family? Let me just put in some comments real quick. Shout out to Black Magic Mike. What's up, family? In the building. Appreciate y'all. What's up, reps? Peace and reparations for sure. Appreciate y'all, man. Y'all coming through, trying to get this good information. And that's the thing about it, right? Is like, so goes California, so goes the nation. You know, if we get prepared, right, ahead of time, that's why, like, the work that we're doing and many others that are doing across the nation is so important, is because you have to get prepared and you have to get involved, or, you know, stuff may be, you know, going through the crap. I was gonna say the CRA and then the P word, but I didn't say it. It will be crap, but we'll fall through the cracks.
Oh yeah, they'll be creating these laws. You won't even know what happened, and it impacts your life. So pay attention.
That's funny. Yeah, don't it? Like, that's why we're actually going to be doing this reading instead. It's definitely an industrial process. We were actually going to go through it, but we figured that, you know, we'll let the family and the community and others who are watching this eventually watch this, check it out, because it's pretty intense. But after we, you know, break down and read, you know, some of the process, it'll probably be more self-explanatory as we go through this. So let's see what's next on the list. I guess, should we go through the life cycle first before we go through the state assembly?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's do that. So I'm gonna share my screen here, and then we could switch off reading. Let me see here. I'll let you know when I am ready to go. Yep. All right, so I am ready to go. I'll take the first paragraph, and then I'll let the lovely ladies take the some of the other paragraphs. So we're going to go through the legislative process here. If you want to look at the California legislative process, I'll go ahead and put this in the chat as we go along. But I'll go ahead and read the first paragraph. The Assembly website from the first paragraph just kind of gives you some summary and some recommendations on why it's good to know the legislative process. I would say not only for California, but federally and also in your own state as well. But let's start with the first paragraph. Step 1, how your idea becomes a bill. All legislation starts off as an idea. These ideas can come from anybody, and the process begins when either an individual or group persuades a member of the legislature to author a bill. The member then sends the idea and the language for the bill to the Legislative Council's office, where it is drafted into the actual bill. The drafted bill is returned to the legislator for his or her review. Persons or groups that originated the idea for the bill may also review it to ensure that the provisions they desire are in the bill in the correct form. If the author is a senator, the bill is introduced at the Senate desk. If an assembly member, at the assembly desk, where it is assigned a number and read for the first time.
You didn't read the top. Can we go back to the top? All right.
You talking about why we know and all that other stuff?
Yeah.
Well, remember we talked about it, that we really weren't going to read it, but I mean, I
It's
could
just a
read
little
it.
paragraph. I'll read it.
All right.
Let's see what they're talking about. Okay. While we know the state legislator makes laws, many of us are unfamiliar with the actual lawmaking process and how we can influence it. Perhaps you have just read something in the newspaper about a bill introduced in California legislature and you want to find out more about it. This guide presents the information sources that are available to you as you try to keep informed. It also describes the process that bills must travel to become enacted into law. If we had to summarize our advice in just 2 words, it would be district office. Each senator and assembly member maintains an office in his or her district, probably very near where you live. This office exists to help you, the constituent. It is just a telephone call away from everything you need to know about a bill, about when it will be heard in committee, about the amendments that have changed the bill, or about how to arrange an interview with your legislator to express your opinions in person. Yeah, that's a very important thing there. These legislators work for us. So when we want to meet with them, we should be able to get something on the schedule, which
Right.
is we do regularly in our advocacy work here.
Yeah, and just to elaborate on that, on this first program, we're just going to be concentrating on the legislative process. We're actually not going to be going on and talking about who is in the Senate and who is in the Assembly in depth right now. That's going to be disclosed as we go along in this process, especially for this upcoming reparations bill that's happening right now. But for right now, we just want to get an overall idea of how the process works legislatively here in California. So I don't know, Darlene, did you want to take step 2? Can you see the screen okay? By the way?
You got it. I'll comment later. We already discussed that. You know, yeah.
All right. Step 2. What to do when your bill goes to policy committee. The bill then goes to the Senate or Assembly Rules Committee, where it is assigned to a policy committee. You can find out where your bill is assigned by calling the author. Since bills are not heard in policy committee until 30 days after they have been introduced and printed, there is plenty of time to investigate a bill or contact your legislator to communicate your position on the bill. Each bill must appear in the daily file for 4 days prior to being heard in a committee. The daily file is the agenda of the day's business, together with public notice of bills set for committee hearings. By checking the file, you can keep track of bills that are being scheduled for committee. If you live out of town and plan to testify at the hearing, it is a good idea to call the author or your legislator to make sure that the bill is going to be heard on that date. Sometimes bills are taken off the agenda at the last moment. At this point, the role of the district office should be emphasized. District office staff are there to serve the needs of the constituents. They can be extremely helpful in making contacts and getting information from Sacramento. It is a good idea to schedule a meeting with your legislator while he or she is in the district. Communicate your concerns regarding legislation. Indicate you want to work with the member's office on a particular issue. Most bills generate support and opposition from a variety of groups. Find out who these groups or individuals are by calling the author's office, where lists of the letters and phone calls received on each bill are kept. A good strategy is to align yourself with the groups that hold your position and work together to talk to the members of the committee before the bill is heard. Keep your letters and discussions with the legislator short and to the point. When testifying before the committee, first state your name and the organization that you represent, or indicate that you are a concerned citizen and state where you live. The members of the committee will be interested to hear what you have to say and usually do not grill individual citizens who testify in the same way that they do lobbyists. Keep your testimony short and to the point.
Step 3. What if your bill goes to a fiscal committee? If the bill has a fiscal impact or state cost, it will be heard in either the Senate or Assembly Appropriations Committee. At this point, you should inform the members of the committee why you support or oppose the bill based on a fiscal argument. The Finance Committee are concerned with fiscal impact and not policy considerations. Try to see if the staff analysis that has been done on the bill by the policy committee, the Department of Finance, and or the legislative analysts. Members of the fiscal committee read these analyses before they vote. These analyses are available on the internet. If you believe that the numbers or the fiscal impact of the bill are not correct as reported in these analyses, you should prepare your written comments before the committee meets. Your written materials should be available to pass out to the committee members at the hearing where you present your testimony. After the bill passes the fiscal committee, it is read for the second time on the floor.
All right. Step 4. After your bill passes the House of Origin and goes to the second House, third reading is the last stage that a bill goes through in the House of Origin before it passes the second House to go through the committee process all over again. On third reading, the author presents the bill for passage by the entire House. Most bills require a majority vote. It must pass by 21 votes in the Senate and 41 votes in the Assembly, while urgency measures and appropriations bills require a 2/3 vote, 27 in the Senate and 54 in the Assembly. At any time during the legislative process, the bill may be amended, either in committee or on the floor. After the amendments have been submitted to the author, the bill goes to another printing to reflect the changes that have been made. The Senate or Assembly history records the dates when a bill has been amended. Amendments can be substantial or technical and may affect your position on the bill. Amendments should be followed very carefully. I'm going to repeat that again. Amendments should be followed very carefully. In contact with the district office can be helpful in keeping track of current versions of a bill. If you subscribe to the bill, these amendments will automatically be sent to you. If you change your position on a bill due to a favorable or unfavorable amendment, you should inform the author and your legislature. All right, just writing some notes real quick. Okay. If a Senate bill is amended by the Assembly or vice versa, and the House of Origin refuses to concur in those amendments, the bill will go to a conference committee. If the House of Origin does concur, the bill goes to the governor. Members of the conference committee are appointed by the rules committees. 3 members from the Senate and 3 from the Assembly meet to negotiate out the differences. If they agree on a single version, it goes back to both floors for approval. Communicate to your legislator or the author which amendments you prefer and why. The conference committee meetings, particularly at the end of the 2-year legislative session, are scheduled quickly and can be easily missed. You must stay in close contact with the author's staff to stay on top of fast-breaking developments. It is also important to know who will be serving on the conference committee so you can inform them of your position.
I'll take step 5. Step 5, you can still act after your bill goes to the governor. The governor has 12 days to sign, approve without signing, or veto a bill. A letter or a phone call to the governor's office is appropriate to state your position on the bill. If the bill is signed or approved without signature, it goes to the Secretary of State to be chaptered. If the governor vetoes the bill, a 2/3 vote in each house is needed to override the video veto. The governor's office releases veto messages which explain the veto. These messages are available from the governor's office and are on the internet. More advice. Legislative and committee staff are the people that will be working with you most of the time. They are your liaison to the legislator. They are usually experts in a particular field, and speaking with them ensures that your concerns will be communicated knowledgeably to the legislator. Be cognizant of the deadlines and procedures that operate in the legislature. Letters or emails, messages that arrive after a bill is passed or killed have no effect. There are hundreds of different groups with legislative offices in Sacramento that follow the activities of the legislature. Many of these groups publish newsletters, which are good sources of up to date information. People who are following bills should be aware of the bill subscription service offered by the Senate. A wealth of legislative information is now available on the internet. You can get bills, amendments, staff analysis, committee agendas, and other legislative information, plus a simple way to track legislation.
Boom. All right, so that kind of sums up the legislative process here. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. If we want to go back to let's see, the other or the next slide, and then we'll continue. All right, so before we continue, I think on the next show we'll probably actually because we didn't actually have time for this program to actually show you some of the subscription options that you do have or that you can participate in with some of these like rules committees, appropriations committees, and the judicial committees. You can actually sign up and communicate with these committees as we go along. So we actually do have a sample legislation that we're going to go through, so you can kind of see the process, but we'll probably get prepared for that for the next show, just because it's a little more time intensive to actually go through that process, because we're probably going to literally like show you like how to sign up, where to sign up, etc. So but thanks again for coming through. Yes, what's up, family? What's up, family? Peace, peace, peace in the building. All right. So yeah, so once again, 41-21-1 reparations formula. Very true. So keep that in your mind, family. We're going to be quizzing y'all at the end what 41-21-1 is again. All right. So keep that in your mind, what that is. All right. So let's go here. The Speaker of the Assembly is Robert Rivas. There's 80 members. And within the State Assembly, there's 33 committees. And of the 33 committees, there are subcommittees. They're currently in summer recess, and they will be back in session Monday, August the 14th at 1 p.m. That's August the 14th at 1 p.m. All right, next slide.
Who are we looking at the top there?
That's Robert Rivas. Yeah, he's the Speaker of the California State Assembly.
Did you read the little blurb here? Oh, it's just welcome to the website. Okay.
Yeah, it's nothing too spectacular there to read, so we can
move on.
Yeah, keep it pushing. California State Senate, Tony G. Atkins is the Senate President pro tempore. There are currently 40 senators. 22 committees, plus their subcommittees. The Senate is also adjourned until Monday, August 14th. They put actually a date there at 2 p.m., but yeah, they're back in session August 14th. All right. So let's see here. We're going to go through some of the AB 3121 history and just, let me just put this in the chat real quick, family. So you have access to it, to the assembly.ca.gov. Let me see here. Oh, okay, it's already in there. Cool. On top of it. All right, so if you want some more information on the process, go to assembly.ca.gov for more information. But let's start with the history of AB 31. Let's take this process as an example, so we know what we're going to be hopefully, crossing big fingers to see what our legislation bill is going to look like. And as we get closer to hope that the eventual bill coming, we're going to need that feedback from you. And it did mention within the, I believe on the website that we read at the assembly about some of the organizations that are involved with this. Sign up to CJEC, I think it's -official.com. Sign up to their website, sign up to their newsletter, because CJEC is, I would probably say, the leading reparation advocacy group here in California that has been leading the way on these reparations, obviously as well, with the community at large. So go ahead, sign up to cjec.official.com to get more information, because the family's definitely going to be on top of it with this upcoming reparations bill. All right, so just give me a quick second. All right, I had to clear my throat a little bit. Didn't want to be rude, just be, doing my thing. So anyway, I guess I'll start with the bottom. We'll start with the bottom and then go up. I don't know about on any other state legislation websites, if they start the bill at the top or the dates at the top to the bottom, but in California, usually they start at the bottom and then it goes up to the top.
From the bottom to the top.
Top to the bottom. All right, so here we go. So on February 21st, 2020, it was introduced to print. So I know we have some definitions that we did lay out for the family. So if we can go to what introduced to print means.
Okay. Dokie.
That's funny. All right, darling, you want to take this, family?
Okay, so we're going to have the introduced to print. That is, a bill is introduced or read for the first time when the name of the author, and the descriptive title of the bill is read on the floor of the House. Then the bill is then sent to the Office of State Printing. No bill may be acted upon until 30 days has passed from the date of its introduction. And although this is not on the list, but the President Pro Tempore of the Senate, it is the highest ranking member of the Senate. And that person also chairs the Senate Committee on Rules. And they are elected by senators at the beginning of each 2-year session. And when you read a bill, the reading has a vote by the Assembly or the Senate on the bill or resolution. Approval of the bill requires 3 readings by the Assembly and 3 by the Senate.
All right. So you want to take the next one, Kim?
Let's see. February 22nd, 2020, from the printer may be heard in committee March 23rd and March 23rd. On February 24th, 2020, it was read for the first time. Darlene just explained to us what a reading entails. On March 24th, 2020, it was referred to the committee on, it has COM on JUD, which stands for Committee on the Judiciary, if I'm not mistaken. You want to read the definition on Committee on Judiciary for us, Darlene?
Yes, the Committee on Judiciary is a standing committee of the California State Senate. In addition to its role in conducting oversight and consideration of nomination, it also considers legislation, resolution, messages, petitions, and other matters as provided for the standing rules of the Senate.
All right, so we'll eventually get back to engrossment and enrolling.
All right, and then on 5/12, May 12, 2020, where they logged in this information. What I said earlier, if you were here at the top of the show, I said that the first hearing, AB 3121 hearing that we attended was on May the 11th. So this information that they're entering here on May the 12th is what happened at that May 11th hearing. Want to tell us what happened, Uguia?
Let's do it. From committee. And just by the way, because this was first introduced in, once again, remember, this was first introduced in where? The Assembly, right? Because it was introduced in the Assembly, which stands for AB, Assembly Bill. This is where it started. So it's going to go to the first committee, do pass and refer to a committee on appropriations. All right. So it looks like it did pass. It had 8 ayes. I gotta get used to that ayes. I'm like, is that like the eye that you see? Anyway,
it's like aye, Captain.
Aye, Captain. Aye. All right, 8 ayes, 3 noes. That's of May 11th, and then it was re-referred to the Committee on Appropriations.
Okay, then we're going to take a quick look at the appropriation definition.
Appropriation, a legislative authorization to make expenditures. One of the prime responsibility is the power to appropriate monies. And APPR just simply means it's the Committee of Appropriations.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, and just to kind of elaborate on that, if I'm correct, and y'all correct me, basically the Appropriations Committee, if I'm correct, is basically the monies.
That's the monies.
The budget.
Follow the money. Show me the money.
Show
so
me
yes,
the money.
You want to be very familiar with who is on that Appropriations Committee in both houses.
Yeah, I think we should probably, if we have a chance, actually show who's currently in the Appropriations Committee.
We want to do that now?
For sure. I don't know. Did we even create a slide for the appropriations? I don't think we did.
Absolutely. So this is Senate appropriations here.
Do we have one for the Assembly or no?
Yeah, that's where we want to go to the Assembly.
Yeah, because we're in the Assembly.
To the Assembly.
We're kind of jumping right now. We were actually going to get to this slide later, but since we're
jumping, we're jumping around. All right. So we have Assembly Member Chris Holden is the chair of the Appropriations Committee. So you want to get to know him, and actually he is one of the Assemblymen that we work with closely. So he is the chair of that committee in the Assembly House, and Assembly Member Megan Dale is the vice chair of Appropriations. committee. So committee jurisdiction, while we're here, primary jurisdiction is fiscal bills, including bonds and alternative public financing. The appropriations committee is located Sacramento, O Street, all that good stuff. And there's a telephone number if you want to take a screenshot, so you can call these people up and let them know what's on your mind. And just really quickly, while we're here, the Assembly committee is made up of, I believe this is 16 members. So again, we have Chris Holden as the chair, Megan Dale as the vice chair, and then you can see here what party that they represent and what district that they represent. So Megan Dale is Republican, and she represents District 1. Then we have Isaac Bryan, Democrat, District 55, Lisa Cauldron, Democrat, District 56, Wendy Carrillo, Democrat, District 52, Diane Dixon, Republican, District 72, Mike Fong, Democrat, District 49, Greg Hart, Democrat, District 37, Josh Lowenthal, Democrat, District 69, Devin Mathis, Republican, District 33, Diane Pappin, Democrat, District 21, Gail Pellerin, Democrat, District 28, Kate Sanchez, Republican, District 71, Esmeralda Soraya, Democrat, District 27, Akila Weber, Democrat, District 79, Lori Wilson, Democrat, District 11. So if you don't know what your district is, it will be not on this show, but future shows showing you how to figure out who your representatives in your districts are. But these are the people that you need to know. And if you are one of their constituents, then definitely you'll need to be talking to them as we go into this legislation leg of reparations here in California.
Yeah.
And if I could just jump in, Kim, Lori Wilson is in my district. I am in her district. So,
Okay, see, there you go. There you
yeah.
go. So she is on the appropriations committee. If
Yes,
you want to get in her ear.
absolutely.
All right. So we left off at what?
We left off on
June
the
2nd or June
yeah,
3rd.
yeah.
All right. All right. You want to take it? Yeah.
Sure. June 2nd, 2020, in committee, set first reading, referred to appropriation suspense file. I think we did that one. Okay, so yeah, we're on June 3rd from committee, do pass, ayes 13, nays 4, June 3rd.
Kim, do we have a definition for suspense file?
Let's see here. All right.
Okay. Suspense file. This process has been part of the committee rules since the mid-1980s as a way to consider the fiscal impact to the state of legislation as a whole. The committee analysis indicates whether a bill's fiscal impact meet the criteria for referral to the suspense file. So it's all about the money.
Yeah.
Oops. Suspense file gets a little tricky. When it goes to suspense, you really gotta stay on top of tracking what's going on.
Yeah, that's why it's important, that we reach out, especially to the appropriations, because sometimes, I know during the AB 3121 process and, some of the other bills that we follow, it will hit that suspense file and you're like, man, what's going on with this? Who's looking at this? And so now that, we are definitely more educated on who we need to contact to say, hey, what's going on with this bill? We need to know what you're doing with it. We definitely, as a community, will need to be aware, especially when it hits that suspense file, because you just never know what's going to happen.
Factual.
All right, fam. Didn't mean to cut your wisdom, so if you'd like to continue.
All right. So we're on June 4th, 2020, co-authors revised. Um, and I don't know if that we have a definition for that, but I guess that means that you're either authors are added or subtracted or something like that. All right. Also on the 4th, read second time, ordered to third reading. On June 11th, 2020, read third time, passed, ordered to the Senate, ayes 61, noes 12, page 4829. Also on 6/11/2020 in Senate, read first time to Committee on Rules for Assignment. So the Rules Committee. Do we want to talk about that? Let's see. We do
Absolutely.
have a definition. So let's take a look.
Okay, the Rules Committee is a legislative committee responsible for expediting the passage of bills. The duties of the Rules Committees, comprising of 5 members, is to investigate and study proposed amendments to the rules and other matters relating to the business of the legislature.
Okay, so are we still in assembly on this, or are we on Senate rules?
Yeah, we're on Senate rules right now.
Senate rules. Okay, well, let's take a look at who are on these Senate rules committees. Rules. All right. Rules Committee meets every Wednesday, 1:30, here in Sacramento again. Jurisdiction, proposed amendments to the rules and other matters related to business of the legislature. Looks like the chair is Toni Atkins. If you'll remember, that name came up. She's the pro tem, I believe, Senate pro tem.
Yes.
And
Yes.
she's one that selected some members for the AB 3121 task force. So after a while, these people's names keep coming up. So you kind of figure out what it is that they do exactly. Then we have a Shannon Grove as the vice chair, and the members are listed right here. Toni Atkins, the chair. Vice Chair, Senator Shannon Grove. Then we have Senator John Laird, Senator Rosalise Ochabo, and Senator Lola Smallwood Huevos. So that is your Rules Committee.
And can I just say for the Senator Lola Smallwood, she's the only other Black senator, the other one being Senator Bradford.
Oh, okay.
So there's only
I didn't know
2.
that. Thanks for that insight. All right, so we've learned what the Rules Committee done. So on the 11th, it went to Rules for Assignment. Looks like it was referred from the Rules Committee, referred to the Committee on the Judiciary.
Which is in the Senate. Just to know. Because we're still in the Senate right now.
We're still in the Senate. Okay.
Right.
So Senate Judiciary. Let's take a look at what's going on in the Senate Judiciary.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Kim, before you go on. That's why I think it's real important while we're going through this process, because like what they'll do on some of these, state websites, they'll have these like acronyms and they'll do short notes and you're like, what does that mean? How does this mean? So, this is definitely helping us, navigate through some of these, legal and legislative terms. So Kim's doing a great job on the 1s and 2s, and Darlene, as obviously is, doing her thing and helping us out. So really appreciate you and appreciate the family who is live streaming it right now and who is going to be watching on the replay. Sorry, Kim. Just wanted to elaborate on that.
No, thank you. Thank you for the elaboration. All right, so we are in the Senate Judiciary Committee here. The jurisdiction for this committee, bills amending the Civil Code, Code of Civil Procedure, Evidence Code, Family Code, and Probate Code, bills related to courts, judges, and court personnel, bills related to liens, claims, and unclaimed property, bills relating to privacy and consumer protections. And we have Tom Umberg, Senator Tom Umberg, as the chair of that committee, and Scott Wilk as the co chair, and he's a Republican. There. And you can see the committee members over here on the side. If you recognize any of these names, again, Thomas Umberg, Scott Wilk, Benjamin Allen, Angelique Ashby. Angelique Ashby, she is formerly a council member here in the city of Sacramento. So she has moved on to become a state senator. So that name is recognizable to me. Then we have Anna Carballero, Maria Elena Durazo, John Laird again, that name, we just heard that name, Dave Min, Roger Nilo, Henry Stern, and Scott Wiener. So
All right.
that's your State Judiciary Committee.
All right, I think we're on what, July 7th,
You want to
2020?
pick it up there?
Not really. You're doing a great job. No, I'll do it. Let's do it. I'll give you a little break, Kim, since you're doing so good on the ones and twos.
Preach.
All right. From committee chair with authors amendments, amend and re-refer to committee, read second time, amended and re-referred to committee on judiciary, and we're still in the Senate on July 31st, 2020. Which I don't know, just by the way, my niece's birthday is on the 29th, which we just recently celebrated. So shout out to my niece who was sick.
Happy birthday, DC.
Say,
So we're just trying to get also the young ones involved with this. Obviously, this might, be a little bit, too much for her to ingest. But one day, she's definitely going to ingest this information. So we're definitely looking forward to
Yeah, for now, just play the Schoolhouse Rock video for her.
that. Exactly. All right, from committee, do pass and re-refer to committee on appropriations. Ayes 7, noes 1. That's of July 30th. Re-referred to committee on appropriations. And then on August 13th, 2020, in committee, referred to appropriations. Once again, the suspense file. What's going on with the money? The suspense file. This is in the Senate. Then on August 20th, 2020, for committee, amend and do pass as amended. Ayes 5, noes 1, August 20th. And then on the same day, August 20th, 2020, read second time and amended, order to return to second reading. August 24th, 2020, read second time, ordered to third reading. August 29th, 2020, read third time, pass, ordered to the Assembly. Ayes 33, noes 3, page 4438. August 29th, 2020, in the Assembly, concurrence in Senate amendments pending. Okay, concurrence. Yes. Do we have a definition for that or no?
yes, I believe you do.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes, let's see here. No, that one ain't it.
No. Okay.
Oh, there we go.
There it is.
Boom.
Senate concurrence. The approval of the House of origin of a bill as amended in the House. If the author is unwilling to move the bill as amended by the other House, the author requests non-concurrence in the bill and asks for the formation of a conference committee. And I would say the way I understood that is if, you received prison time times 3 and you serve it concurrent, you just serve the larger one opposed to 3 different sentences. That's kind of how I had to understand what was going on right here. That was just my way of thinking about it.
Okay. All right. So in Assembly concurrence, in Senate amendments pending. So it looks like on the 29th there were some amendments that were pending there. So it was kind of stalling. Not for too long though, because on August 30th, 2020, Senate amendments concurred to engrossing and enrolling.
Engrossment is when a bill is amended. The printed form of the bill is proofread by the staff to assure that amendments are inserted properly. After being proofread, the bill is correctly engrossed and thereupon deemed to be proper form. Enrollment is when a bill passes both houses in the legislature. It is ordered enrolled. In enrollment, the bill is again proofread for accuracy and then delivered to the governor. The enrolled bill contains the complete text of the bill with the dates of passage certified by the Secretary of the Senate and the Clerk of the Assembly.
All right. And then on September 11th, it was enrolled and presented to the governor.
Woohoo!
They said actually at 3 p.m. So they actually have a time in here at 3 p.m. So the big day, September 30th, 2020, which was approved by the governor. And Kim, I think, was that the 29th or 30th? I don't know. We were there, right? It was me, you, and Chris. We're on some Zoom call or something like that at the time.
Yeah, there was a Zoom call signing. Ice Cube was there in the house. Yeah, it was celebratory. And if y'all will remember, earlier it was stated with the governor either signs the bill into law, or if he doesn't sign the bill, it also goes into law. So the only way to stop a bill is for him to actually veto it. So it was pretty much, these bill signings are pretty much celebratory and symbolic. Even if the governor had not signed the bill, it still would have gone into law. So the fact that, they made a celebration of it, like I said, it's symbolic and, shows that, he's aware of the bill and, actively signing it.
Yeah, so we did appreciate the governor for signing it. And then on the great day of September 30th, 2020, AB 3121 made history, chaptered by the great Secretary of State, Dr. Shirley Weber, Chapter 319, Statutes of 2020. So there you go.
Chaptered by the Secretary of State. A legislative bill is chaptered by the Secretary of State once it passes through both houses of the California State Legislature and has either been signed by the governor or has become law without the governor's signature, as Kim just stated.
Yeah.
So if it sits on his desk, it still becomes law if he doesn't.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, and I find that almost deceptive because, with there's no fanfare around the signing of this bill, then they kind of can just slip by without people really realizing what's going on. So again, that's why it's important to stay engaged on this stuff.
Well, I guess you would have to say what the bill is. I'm sure there's tons of bills that get enacted that way. But
right. So if it's a bill that you're particularly interested in, that's why it's important to stay engaged.
Yeah. All
All
right. So
right.
I think we have some more upcoming slides before we get out of here to go through.
All right. Is this something you were going to touch on?
Okay. Yeah. Just real quick. I think this is the first slide now. Yeah. So this is just some quick information. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but this is actually what uh, the bill history is, the roll call and the votes uh, in the judiciary. It shows you the ayes and nays, who voted for what on the 11th of March, on the June 3rd in the Assembly Appropriations. And then on the assembly floor. So the slides the history that we showed basically are the notes, right? So if you go onto the website, and you click on, I believe it's the status or the history, it will actually give you further information on who voted for what and who didn't vote for it and who didn't vote at all. And NVR, if I recall correctly, and Darlene, please let me know. I believe NVR means no vote returned.
No vote. Yes.
Yeah. So, all right. Next slide, please. Okay. I know you have another banner up there.
Banner, yeah.
That was hilarious. All right. That's how we do it when you live, right? All right, it's all good. All right, so on July 30th, once again, as we saw in the history, in the Senate Judiciary, it passed. August 13th, it passed. And on August 20th, it passed. This is all in the Senate Judiciary Appropriations committees. All right, so here's the big ones. The big ones. Not saying that the others weren't important, because all throughout this process, a bill can get killed. But this is definitely important, that both houses actually passed on the Senate floor and also the Assembly floor on August 29th, and then the next day, August 30th of 2020.
Okay, so do we want to see who voted for what?
Let's do it.
All right. We've got this guy. Who's this? Mike Morrell. And I got this information. Ballotpedia is also a very good website to get information on really just all of governmental entities from state to federal, city. It's great for that. All right. So Mike Morrell, Republican Party, was a member of the California State Senate representing District 23. He assumed office on April 3rd, 2014. He left office on December 7th, 2020. Good riddance. Again, these are the people who voted against reparation. So goodbye, Mike Morrell. Peace
Kim,
out.
should we actually go back to? Could we go back to the? I guess the last slide of the AB 3121 history, and I'll just read off the ones who actually didn't vote, because I didn't actually do that. Okay, so in the Senate, since we're doing Senate, these are the people, if I'm correct, didn't vote. Is Melendez, Morrell, and Nelson, I think. And then no votes returned for Grove, Jones, and Morlack Stern. But we're going over Melendez, Morrell, and Nelson, correct, Kim?
Yes.
Okay. And then when we get to the assembly, then I'll read the assembly ones.
Okay. So who was that? Morrell. So on this sheet that you read, it said Morrell didn't vote.
It says Melendez, Morrell, and Nelson were the no's.
Oh, they were the no's. Yes.
Right.
Yes. Okay. So that is correct. All right. So bye, Mike Morrell. We won't miss you. And let's see what else we got going on here. Melendez also voted no. Melendez Republican Party was a member of the California State Senate representing District 28. She assumed office on May 18, 2020. She left office on December 5th, 2022. So she is also gone. Don't need to worry about her. Goodbye. And Jim Nelson, Republican Party, also a no vote out of the Senate. He was a member of the California State Senate representing District 4. He assumed office on January 10, 2013. He left office on December 5th, 2020. So it appears that he is no longer in office and no longer a concern to obstruct our reparations votes here. And then as we move on to the assembly.
All right, you want to can you go back to the other? Yeah. All right, here we go. So the ones who did not vote for AB 3121 were Bigelow, Bro, Choi, Cunningham, Megan Dahl, Fong, Gallagher, Kylie, Mathis, Obernoity, Patterson, and Waldron. For the no votes returned, Chin, Dieppe, Eggman, Flora, Frazier, Lackey, Mez, Voipel, and Wicks.
If I'm not mistaken, Umora, isn't Dow? She's on the committee for appropriations with Holder.
Where is that at?
Yep, that would be her.
Oh, Dow. Okay. Yeah, Dow. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we
Okay,
really have
so
to watch
she
her.
is one that we are going to have to watch. We're going to have to watch her.
Yeah, we're gonna have to send her a little side note.
Yeah, we're going to have to submit position email, as it says right here.
And her husband actually voted yes, but she voted no.
Who's her husband?
I forget his first
Yeah,
name.
his last name is Dell too.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think wasn't he the one?
Is he the one who ran against Governor Gavin Newsom in the recall?
I think he was. Yeah.
Yes, that was yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But we need to watch her.
Yeah, we got to watch her.
Yeah.
Remember that name. All right. So the assembly. So here are the haters, the reparation haters. We have Frank Bigelow, Republican Party, was a member of the California State Assembly representing District 5. He assumed office on December 3rd, 2012. He left office on December 5th, 2022. He ran for re-election in California Assembly to represent District 5. He won the general election on November 2020. But he left office in 2022. So it appears that and then on the back to the Ballotpedia page where I'm getting their picture information. It also provides some stats on these politicians on whether they're in office or not. And it looks like he's no longer in office because the first thing listed is prior offices. So we don't have to worry about Frank Bigelow. Good riddance to him. William Bro, Republican Party, was a member of the California State Assembly representing District 73. He assumed office on December 1st, 2014. He left office on December 7th, 2020. Let's see, he ran for re-election to the California State Assembly to represent District 73. He lost in the primary on March 3rd, 2020. Womp womp. So it doesn't look like we have to worry about him either.
Well, I think we need to worry about all of them.
But they're no longer in office. So
no, I'm not saying the ones that are not in office. I'm just saying going forward, we need to keep an eye on everybody.
Yeah, we need to keep an eye on everybody.
Yeah.
But, it looks like the ancestors doing a pretty good job getting a lot of these people out the paint.
Yeah.
All right. And also more naysayers. We have Stephen Chow, Republican Party, was a member of the California State Assembly representing District 68. He assumed office in 2016. He left office on December 5th, 2020. He ran for re-election California State Assembly to represent District 73. He lost in the general election on November 8th, 2022. Then we have Jordan Cunningham, was a member of the California State Assembly representing District 35. He assumed office in 2016. He left office on December 5th, 2022, ran for re-election to the California State Assembly to represent District 35. He won in the general election in 2022, but I guess not the primary, because also both of these guys have prior offices listed, which indicates that they're no longer in office. So, good riddance there. More haters. We're back to Megan Dale here. She's begins, one to watch. Republican Party, is a member of the California State Assembly representing District 1. She assumed office on November 12, 2019. Her current term ends on December 2, 2024. So she's going to be around for at least until December 2nd, 2024. So she's one to watch. Let's see what else she has going on. Ran for re-election to the California State Assembly to represent District 1. She won the general election on November 8th, 2022. So it looks like she's planning to run again. And then we have Vince Fong. Republican Party, is a member of the California State Assembly representing District 32. He assumed office on December 5th, 2022. His current term ends on December 2nd, 2024. Also one to watch. He did win the general election on November 8th, 2022 to represent the district. So he will be running again on that. All right. Who else do we have here? We have James Gallagher. Republican Party, is a member of the California State Assembly representing District 3. He assumed office on December 1st, 2014. His current term ends on December 2nd, 2024. He ran for re-election to the California State Assembly to represent District 3. He won the general election 2022. So he's also served as a House leader, it says, for a period of time in 2022. And we have Kevin Kiley. Republican Party, is a member of the U.S. House representing California's 3rd Congressional District. He assumed office on the 3rd of January, 2023. His current term ends January 2025. Kiley, Republican Party, is running for re-election to the U.S. House of Representatives, California 3rd Congressional District. He declared candidacy for the primary scheduled on March 5th, 2024. Okay, so this guy is a congressman. He's in the House, so he's moved on, but so he's really going to be one to watch when it comes to the federal reparations. So remember this name, Kevin Kiley, voted no to reparations here in California. He also, it says, in 2021, ran as a replacement candidate in the recall election of California Governor Gavin Newsom. So he's just, an all-around hater, and we got to keep an eye on him.
And Kim, can I say that he voted no on reparations? What they actually voted on is the study. So they don't want reparations. They didn't even
they voted no on that. They didn't even want to study.
They didn't even want to study.
All right. Let's see who else. Devin Mathis. Republican Party, is a member of the California State Assembly representing District 33. He assumed office on December 5th, 2022. His current term ends on December 2nd, 2024. Ran for re-election to the California State Assembly to represent District 33. He won the general election November 8, 2022. So we're going to have to keep an eye out on Devin Mathis. And Jay Arbernold, Republican Party, is a member of the U.S. House representing California's 23rd Congressional District. He assumed office on January 3rd, 2023. His current term ends on January 3rd, 2025. Abernolte is running for re-election to the U.S. House to represent California's 23rd Congressional District. He declared candidacy for the primary scheduled on March 5th, 2024. So Obernolte, he's one to watch for. If he is a representative in your area, be sure to show him what a no vote looks like at the upcoming election. And okay, last two. We've got Jim Patterson, Republican Party, is a member of the California State Assembly representing District 8. He assumed office on December 5th, 2022. His current term ends on December 2nd, 2024. Patterson ran for re-election to the California State Assembly to represent District 8. He won the general election, so he's one to watch for. And with these people, we know when their term is ending, so we're letting them know, especially if they're running again, that our vote is going to be an exchange. And then we have Mary Waldron, Republican Party, is a member of the California State Assembly representing District 75. She assumed office in December 3rd, 2012. Her current term ends on December 2nd, 2024. Waldron, Republican Party, ran for re-election to the California State Assembly to represent District 75. She won the general election on November 8, 2022. So she is also, Waldron is one to watch out for. So there you go.
Boom. All right. So I think we almost are wrapped up here. How many?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've pretty much gone through, the important ones here just really quickly. Since appropriations is where the money's at, we following the money. You could take a screenshot of this slide. This is Senate Appropriations Committee. So these are the people we're going to be wanting to reach out to with any concerns related to fiscal appropriations. And we have the chair as Portantino. And they're not giving first names for these representatives, so you'll have to look that up. Jones is the vice chair. We have that Ashby, which I know is Angelique Ashby, because like I said, she was a former council member here in Sacramento. Then we have Bradford, which is Stephen Bradford, who was a task force member. And we have Serato, Wahab, and Wiener in the Appropriations Committee for the Senate.
All right. Man, Mike, you are hilarious, bro. Hateration, holleration, in dance.
For real.
Yeah.
Okay, so with AB 3121, and I know we're going to be wrapping it up pretty soon here, but really AB 3121 pretty much lived in the Judiciary and the Appropriations Committee, but there are other standing committees that, we may need to keep an eye on in the Senate here. They have 22 standing committees. And if you see, I have the highlights here on the Appropriations Committee, the Judiciary, and the Rules. They also have committees on agricultural, banking, and financial institution, budget and fiscal review, business professions and economic development, education, elections and constitutional amendments, energy, utility and communications, environmental quality, governance and finance, governmental organization, health, housing, human services, insurance. There's the judiciary that we spoke about, labor, public employment and retirement, military and veteran affairs, natural resources, and water, public safety, rules, and transportation. So, is it your understanding, Umoya, that these committees, the rules committee could assign them these bills to any of these standing committees?
Yeah, that's from my understanding. So once a bill gets presented to the legislation or whatever house it's in, then the rules committee allocates the particular, I guess, bill at that time to one of these standing committees.
Okay, so if it's a bill related to, say, housing, it could potentially get referred to the housing committee.
Yeah, possibly.
Possibly. So that's what we'll be looking out for. And I won't run through all of these. If you want to take a screenshot, the assembly also has standing committees. The highlights indicate appropriations, judiciary, and rules, which we've gone over today. And the assembly has 33 standing committees.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, there is no one else, and I'm just not saying this to kind of pat ourselves on the back. That's not what we're here for. We're really here for so we all have a better understanding of the process. Because once again, if you don't know the process, you will get left behind, and especially when this reparations bill, which will impact, our community, and eventually will impact, the nation. And I just recommend anybody else who wants to look further into the legislative process, please do so, especially when you're looking to tackle something like reparations. I know in New York, they're looking at, reparations out there, and I believe Washington, D.C. Currently right now. Yeah, family, go and support us at, Cash App, ETA Media Group. If you do have a second, we'd really appreciate your support in this endeavor. Because, we don't have to be doing this, but we know that it's very important, and it's vital that we understand this process, right? Yeah, I don't, just real quick before we go. So Darlene, I know that, people on our platform are familiar with you, but for those that aren't, can you just real quick before we wrap up out of here, because definitely want to give you some love and some flowers, because we always appreciate you, kind of once again, how you got involved in the reparation space?
Okay, thank you, Umoya. I got involved by seeing the word reparations on Twitter. I did belong to one group, and I left the city. I currently live in Fairfield. I left the city for a couple of months, and I went down to LA. My mom had a medical emergency, and so I didn't even get on any kind of social media. When I came back, there was I could tell that something had happened, and so I wasn't involved in that online group anymore, which was ADOS. And then I just seen something about CJEC, and I didn't know what it was. I did not know what AB 3121 was. I had no idea. So I looked it up, and I saw that CJEC was having a in-person meeting in Sacramento. And so I just went down there, and I walked in there, and I met you, Kim, you, Moya, and Chris for the first time. And I've been following you guys ever since. And I like to say that you guys just had me belong to CJ because I kept following you. So, that's how I really got started. So I was not involved in the signing of the legislation of AB 31. All that had already happened. But I've been with CJEC, and now currently I'm also with American Redress Coalition of the Area, also known as ARC Bay Area. We've been in existence for a little over a year now. And that's how I got started. And I'm just so thankful to be here and now to watch the process. And we are going to get reparations. So I'm so glad and humbled to be a part of that. I know it's going to happen. I don't hope because I already know that it is written that we will get it. Period.
Well, if Queen Darlene says so,
It's
it
happening.
will.
Yeah. It's happening.
Facts, man, facts. All right, and I think on the next show we probably want to go through and figure out how to submit, as I believe I said earlier in the program, how to submit a position email and some letters, because it's weird. Like, some of the committees have different, like, between the rules and the appropriation, the judiciary, like how to submit to them. So one's like you could just submit via email, and the other one is like, you got to submit through this whole portal thing. You got to sign up.
If you go back to the slides, for instance, on the Senate Judiciary, they have the portal system. So submit a position letter through the portal. Same thing on the Appropriations Committee. When I got to the Rules Committee page, and if you can kind of move those, there was no button for submitting positions. In the assembly, it looks like you could submit through the portal. That was the rules committee. You can submit through the portal system. And then on the appropriations, it's like submit a position email. So yes, you do need to know the proper submission channels because they can vary from committee to committee.
Yeah, we'll definitely on the next show actually go through the process a little bit more in detail. We just kind of wanted to give the family a overall understanding of the process right now. But the next few shows we're actually going to be diving even deeper into who these assembly and who these senators are as we go along. So shout out to the family, man. Let me give some flowers once again to our family for coming through. Really appreciate y'all, because this is important, right? This is something that is going to change, our trajectory here in the United States of America. As you can see, Darlene, people give you flowers in the beginning, well deserved, because you've definitely been in the fight for our righteous justice claim.
Right. And even though you got in the fight, a little bit while the train was already moving, that just shows that it is not too late for all of you to get involved in this fight for reparations. You can go to CJEC, is CJEC-official.com to sign up and see what the volunteer opportunities are about. So I would advise you to go ahead.
Kim is .org.
Oh, .org. Okay, thank you, Darlene. See, thank you. CJEC-official.org. Sign up for the newsletter and to volunteer.
Your famous from following up going to know your face. That's hilarious. All right, we'll post up. Yes, CJEC-official.org. That's CJEC-official.org. All right, so once again, just real quick, I'm going to see if we can go through some of these, the in-house keeping. So definitely reparationsnow.com. That's reparationsnow.com. Please go watch it. Tell your family and your friends to go watch it. This is grassroots, family. This isn't like, and no shade to any other documentaries, because there's some great documentaries out there, right? But when you're telling it from the perspective, when you actually go to the community, we literally went all the way up to the tip top almost of California, to the tip top bottom of California. I don't know any other production company, whatever you want to call it, creatives that have done it at this particular level. And we still got a lot of work to do. Obviously, we're underfinanced, and we're doing this definitely for labor out of love, but we know this is for our babies, for the future descendants out there. So We're definitely in it to win it, and we want to go make it happen. And if you can't support us, with your $4.99 and some change, then go to Tubi. Check us out on Tubi. I think we might actually have somewhere else. Next one, I got to give them a shout out. I can't remember, some other distribution site reached out to us and said they're gonna run the reparationsnow.com. So I definitely got to give them a shout out next time we're on screen, and then or on the show, not screen, on the show. And then once again, every Tuesdays, check out the case of Emmanuel Smith. So we dive deep into that brother's case as well, to give him support, because he talks about it from his perspective, right? There is some footage on a local ABC. I believe it's some footage that I don't know if it's gone viral or not, but it was posted to the internet. So we actually, ask, Emmanuel, hey, what's going on with this? And we actually speak to his lawyer as well. So it's an 11-part series that happens every Tuesday. It's going to be posting right here on Even the Mass Media Group. And I think that's about it, family, unless there's anything else.
I made it easy for y'all to watch the documentary. I just dropped the Tubi link in the chat, so you can just go to that and watch it tonight. And again, share it with your family and your friends. And anybody who you feel could use some education on the reparations process out here in California.
Absolutely, family. All right, so I think that's about it. Oh, you gonna say something, Darlene? Before?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I just want to encourage everyone to come back every Sunday and work with ETM in this legislative process that's going on. I won't be available next Sunday, but I look forward to coming back the following Sunday. And this is all a learning process for us all, and let's do it together to get our reparations for descendants.
Amen.
A to the man. All right, then. Well, next Sunday, please be in the building. That's going to be 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then if you can't make it at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, check the replay. Take notes, see what you can learn, and see what might be improved. And then shoot us an email at etmmediagroup@gmail.com, etmmediagroup@gmail.com. This is for you. This is a community show. And on that, wonderful people, have a blessed and wonderful day. And check us out, yes, at etmmediagroup.com. That's etmmediagroup.com. You can check out more information on what's going on specifically right here in California reparations and news. And we also, try to reach out to our fellow advocates and other media across the nation as well to see what's going on. As a matter of fact, I think hopefully, crossing fingers, we'll be speaking to someone who is out in New York, and he will be giving us an update on what's going out there in New York, because there's some rumblings of reparations movement out there. So I definitely want to have him on the program to let us know what's going out there in New York, because everywhere somebody is trying to repair our tragic and unfortunate scenario here in California. We definitely appreciate it, and that's what we do, right? So anyway, once again, everybody have a wonderful and blessed day. On that note, peace and reparations.
See you.
Did you ever think what it would be like traveling along in an open car without a windshield? Boy, you wouldn't go very far before you got all splattered with mud. And you'd have to keep your eyes closed so as not to be blinded by the dust. Well, when you're traveling along in life, Rangers, common sense acts as a pretty important windshield. It lets you see where you're going.
I am the greatest.